Sustainable Blue is a Canadian-based company proud to offer the market sustainably reared salmon produced from an environmentally responsible farming practice based on land. I'm personally very passionate about what Sustainable Blue is doing at the moment because it plays to two things. Everybody would like to be part of a successful business enterprise, and it's really exciting to have that opportunity and do something that's positive for our environmental world, that world that sometimes we do put under pressure. So to combine the two, good business with environmental responsibility makes me unashamedly pleased with what we're doing. The main farm at Red Bank Road uses this total containment aquaculture system, and it takes in a very small amount of water per day. That compares very favorably with the 1,000 cubic meters of water that we move every hour. So that would make it 24,000 cubic meters of water every day. Compare that with the fact that we probably bring in, on average, 1 cubic meter of water per day to replace that which is lost when we sell the fish.
The hatchery is a multi-system land-based facility where we accommodate the juvenile life cycle stages of the freshwater salmon. So the process for us begins with the arrival of the egg, and we take the salmon through the life cycle stages all the way through to the production of a smolt. A smolt is a freshwater salmon which has been conditioned to make that transition into salt water. Really important for us to have our own hatchery because we get to retain control, full control over the quality of the smolt that we produce. When that smolt makes a transition into salt water, which is a stressful period for the salmon, the quality of the smolt really affects how well that salmon transitions into salt water. So when it comes to transferring smolts from the hatchery, two of our tanks in the saltwater grow-out unit, not only are they connected to the filtration system in the saltwater side, but they're also connected to the filtration system on the freshwater hatchery side. So as these fish come over, they transition first of all in their own freshwater from the hatchery. And over a period of 10 days, we will slowly introduce salt from the saltwater filtration side. This provides a really slow transition which mimics what the salmon would experience in the natural environment. As it goes down the stream towards the ocean, it encounters saltwater in increasing levels of salinity over several days. And that's exactly what we're trying to mimic. The effect for us is a much lower mortality rate when the salmon makes that transition onto saltwater, which is quite a stressful period. And also we see no reduction in feeding as they make that transition, and that helps our growth rates. We receive our eggs from a production facility in Iceland, and we do that because they're able to produce eggs at a frequency which suits our production cycle. They're also this year introducing eggs which are all female, and that has great benefits to us because it prevents early maturation in the batches of fish that we grow in the on-growing unit. Saltwater grow-out unit at Sustainable Blue is divided into 3 sections. The first section is the tank room area. We have large grow-out tanks which hold 50 tons of water. When the fish are ready for market, we transfer them over to the smaller harvest tanks where they're more accessible for netting. The second area is the primary filtration area. This is where the water drains back for primary filtration treatment. And that completes the recycle loop by pushing clean water back to the fish tanks. The third area is the secondary treatment area, where we can either sterilize our previously captured effluent water, or we can choose to bring salt water in from the ocean and again sterilize that before we return it to the fish tanks.
Total containment land-based fish farms have another advantage. They allow us to move finally away from the shore. If we have a very small requirement for salt water each day, then like the aquariums that we've designed in the past, where they're built in the central capital cities of countries where the population are, now we can use that ability to move our fish farms from the coast, inland and close to the market. It reduces distribution costs, but also has this extra advantage of a limited carbon footprint that's always associated with large-scale, long-distance distribution. Another benefit of land-based farming is that it provides a risk-mitigated environment. If we take the other alternatives that are currently available, such as sea-based farming, then there are a plethora of risks that might come about unpredictably. And very often, they're unpreventable. Weather events, maritime accidents, disease, things of this sort.
The new saltwater grow-out module, which is currently being constructed, represents the very latest technology platform on the water filtration side. It's a concrete tilt-up panel building, which gives us great insulation qualities and a great workspace for the guys who are involved in the operation. They contain much larger grow-out tanks than we're used to. Our largest tank at the moment is 6 meters in diameter. These tanks are 10 meters in diameter. We think it's going to add somewhere between 65 and 85 metric tons of production every year.
Our process of development has been to take it to the grassroots, to start from the very beginning and build from there. And we've come up with processes and engineered pieces of plant that don't exist outside our company. And I think the fact that we've built those bits of plant and developed those processes has allowed us to achieve levels of excellence in water quality that don't seem to be available elsewhere.
The control and automation system provides access to the programming via a computer screen, essentially. These are touch screens which give the operators access to the control parameters. So, for example, if we're trying to control temperature, we would say to the system, turn chilling on at 15 degrees and turn chilling off at 14 degrees.
Our fish, being raised disease-free and free of any sea lice, etc., are not treated with any chemicals that make people feel nervous. There are no antibiotics and there are no pesticides used in the farm because we don't need to use them. So that's one of the principal things that promotes ours in the marketplace. We also are able to control many of the other things, such as the environment in which they grow. A very clean environment gives them a very clean taste. You can't sell fish into a premium marketplace without a premium taste to those fish.
Sustainable Blue is producing a salmon what is as close to a wild salmon as you can get. That's my opinion, and that's opinion from people who ate wild salmon before they came to the restaurant and tried it. Fat content is close to a wild salmon, totally different than a caged ocean salmon, what has a higher fat content. The color is there, taste, it's the firmness of the fish, and it's a beautiful fish to look at. Even. We need fish farms. We can't live without any farmed fish anymore because the ocean doesn't give us the amount of fish we need. So a land-based fish farm is the best alternative to an ocean-raised fish because it's clean, it's good for the environment, and especially what Sustainable Blue is doing and using 99% of the water source and don't feed anything back into the ocean and reusing that water and everything else what's being produced in the facility, it makes total sense. We're depleting our oceans, and so maybe we should give our oceans a little bit of a rest.